У вас самого so this is just spare. Here's another spare. I don't remember I'm sorry, I missed you. All right, perhaps we can start now. Also, we were saying with Anita that we will try to wrap up and finish the session 10 minutes before the report so that we can also exchange and agree on the points to be reported and elaborate on them. Would you agree? In the back part. Could we perhaps start just making a tour without the referral, and if you could just mention your name, if you are from your university, from a national Erasmus office, and your country. So I'm from Armenia, I'm vice rector of Yerevan State University of Languages and Social Sciences, and I'm vice rector for Science and International Relations. Also, I'm member of the governing board of the Armenian National Agency for Quality Assurance. So, university and quality assurance issues. And I'm from Belarus, and I'm working for National Erasmus Plus office. Right. Hi, my name is Vlad Lysenko. I'm from Moldova, but de facto from Transnistria region of Moldova, and from Transnistrian University, and we are not a part of Erasmus because of unrecognized status. So situation is difficult in our situation, I would say. That's why I'm here more to learn than to tell you best practices, let's say. I'm the vice rector for international. All right, so also your university.
My name is Solsha Filipova. I am from Kazakhstan, Nazarbayev University. I'm currently an associate professor at Graduate School of Education, but I used to be as administrator, responsible for the Department of Quality Assurance. And now I'm represented here as here.
All right. My name is Aziza. I'm from the Erasmus Plus of Uzbekistan. All right. My name is Olga. I'm from Tajikistan. Also, I'm a vice rector of international relations, and here I am a member of here. Yeah, of course. Yeah. All right.
My name is Ranko. I'm from Montenegro, National Erasmus Office.
All right. Thank you. Can you just briefly say where you come from?
My name is Aina. I'm from Turkmenistan, National Erasmus Office.
All right.
I'm Zlatan from the Federal Ministry of Education and Science, but I'm here as a member of the Higher Education Forum expertise for Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Thank you. So I think we have a better idea also of your backgrounds and where you come from. All right. So this session is supposed to focus on building capacity for institutional QA. So I guess it would be of a lot of interest, at least I hope, for those of you who are also based in universities, but of course, what is important here, and also in general in the framework of this project, is to relate things together, right? How to put that also at national level, etc. So we'll perhaps just, we have no presentation here, so it's just a question of opening the floor and trying to exchange based on our own experiences and also, of course, crossing your experiences and as a background, of course, the presentation that we just had before lunch from Sirka, which I think was quite inspiring for many people in the audience. So for this session, we do have a little homework, which is a list of 5 conditions for building institutional quality culture capacity. So that's the first 5, and then there is a second one, concrete steps that here could take to support this in their countries. All right, so before starting with elaborating lists, let's say, perhaps we could just start by trying to make sure that we understand each other. We were talking with Anita, and I think we quite agreed that we first would like to know what you understand by quality culture. Do we really mean the same thing with the same words? And if you have institutional examples, that would be also much appreciated. appreciated.
I think the best interpretation of the quality, I identify quality with the quality culture is defined in the Salzburg descriptors for postdoctoral education. So quality is not the resources, not the funds. Quality is the supportive environment. So in our main purpose, objective, goal is to create this kind of supportive environment, both for the teachers, students, staff, to support one another in order to increase the capacity building, improve the quality. So this is a quality is a joint effort. So it is impossible to build any kind of a quality issue without support, help, and understanding. You can't do it independently. You should collaborate. So quality culture is collaboration in order to establish this kind of a supportive environment. This is my view and my interpretation, and I think that this is the best interpretation for me.
Alright, so there are two very important elements I think you mentioned. The support, the support inside of the story, related to the environment and of activities, and also this collective dimension, because of course this is a culture, and you cannot build up a culture.
But culture is not an independent category. Culture is something common.
Very much that needs to be shared. All right, thank you. Then there is somebody else who would like also to perhaps relate or contradict. I don't know. Up to you.
Actually, I will agree with you, but I just add that in my understanding, quality is first of all quality of programs, quality of teaching and learning, quality of students, quality of teaching staff, and quality of infrastructure. If we have all this in place, we will create a supportive learning environment that will help and ensure quality in place. Sometimes we were just talking with colleagues that there is a kind of misinterpretation, and for example, in Kazakhstan, the quality many universities just get this SMK, Total Quality Management, by ISO 2009 and so on, and they put the certificate saying quality is in place, but there is no quality in place, because it doesn't provide quality for business processes, but the academic quality that we're talking about is actually should be in place, should be ensured. So it somehow misleads some universities. It is good also to have this one, because if there is quality of business processes, it will somehow lead also to the quality. But when we speak, we have to point out, I somehow differentiate academic quality.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
I'd like to contribute. I think that necessary part of college culture is a clear understanding of every person working for the university. What is the main goal, or what is the goal for quality? The common goal for quality for the university, and role of every person working for the university into how to come to this goal. Yeah. I think it means culture.
So you also relate to, I can see if I started actually the presentation with that it started from the strategic goals of the university, and then, all right, thank you. That's another element, how to relate to the strategic goals and to the identity actually of the institution or the program. Is there any other intervention here that would contribute to the discussion at some point?
May I add something?
Yes, yes.
I just want to add that we say any kind of a culture, it is a combination of values that should be appreciated by all the people. So I think that this quality culture is a combination, a set of shared values which are respected by all the members of this organization, university. Otherwise, it is impossible to reach this common understanding level and to understand the others and make them understand your own personal interests. So this is due to this set of values. So values are an important category in any kind of a culture, and value is the precondition for mutual understanding. So any kind of a culture is a communication, and in order to proceed a very efficient communication, it should be based on high human values. This is my understanding.
Okay, I think we already had a few elements for further thinking in that regard. EUA has conducted actually a lot of projects on creative cultures in Nigeria, and well, we had several rounds of that project that was just called Quality Culture. We worked with a lot of universities, and it turned out, I mean, there was a consensus about a certain definition of quality culture as something with two elements, two separated elements. One which is more about processes, so quality assurance system, that there should be a framework in place, a framework also that allows to relate, for example, to the strategic goals. And the other element, very important, is the cultural element, and that relates to values, that relates to how to be collective, how to collectively share an identity, etc., etc. So I think it's really the elements you're mentioning are really those at the core of the discussion. All right. Then can you or can somebody else just start by giving perhaps an example of how do you do that in your own university?
Of course, for example, this is a very sensitive element. Information, any kind of information, should be accessible to everybody. So, in order to establish the atmosphere of equality, you need the atmosphere of having the information to be the property of everyone and each in your organization.
Transparency.
So, transparency of the information is the most important thing in order to reach this quality culture. Because everyone should have equal opportunities to start something, to initiate something, to succeed in this or that capacity. Because if the person is devoid of information, and it is not his fault that he would not succeed in the future. It is the next very important issue that we focus on is the category of leadership. So I'm expert in structures and systematic coordination, and I know that. So when we say leadership, it does not mean only this leader. It means the relations within this organization. So everyone, when we speak about synergetic systemic relations within a company, it means that the leader should foster self-management of the staff. You should work in a way that to make people work automatically, not just to say that you should do this, you should do that. The person should not wait for the instruction from the leader to do something. He should be aware that any kind of an initiative on his part will be welcomed by the leader. And in this way, he is becoming leader himself. So everyone should be a leader in the organization. You should inspire this leadership in everyone. For example, I myself, as leader in my office for science and international relations, I always ask my staff to be leader, to advise on me to do this or that, to feel the leaders and to just be in my position. And I'm just investigating their reactions and their capacity to, for example, to take another position in the university, to ensure the career advancement and so on. So these are the steps that should be cultivated in any kind of a company, and these are very important issues if we speak about these practical, tangible elements of quality culture.
That's interesting. Thank you. And what about students then?
The same is with the students. I was dean of the department for many years, for 5 years, and I did the same with my students. I never said, so you should do this, you should do. No, now let's discuss what are we going to do together. So this idea of being together is a very important issue, because when you are together with someone, you just push them to share your responsibility. So they are not only customers, they become just actors like you. And all of us share the same responsibility. And when the students feel that they are responsible for something, they react in a different way. They are more responsible, they are more serious, and
That's you, I think. Thank you. Thank
And this is another kind of a behavior which is based on trust.
Yes.
When you trust your students, you always get feedback from them.
Yes, go ahead. I would like to add, I would actually like to give you an opposite example from yours. I love your talk. It's a very dangerous idea and a very good idea. And I want to tell you how things work at my institution. There is no power given not to the students but to the teachers. We have quality control of every step. And it's very formalized in the sense that the management of this institution is concerned with whether I came to class on time and I left on time and that I signed the book and that I submitted the list of students and that's it. What I did in those 3 hours in the classroom is no one's concerned with, however. So just being very concerned with the formal aspects of it, so the appearances, while no actual essential quality being even thought of, so to speak.
May I just react?
Mhm.
So again, as former dean of the department as well as professor, I can say that when we speak about the quality of the culture, we should never speak about the failures to come on time or to go. So we always deal with this kind of learning experiences, which should be appreciated, motivated. If you tell the student that he is a total failure, so he will remain failure during all his life. So it is a blow that will be felt maybe 20 years period too. You should motivate everyone in class. And of course, trust. I can say that with our pre-Soviet background, it was very difficult to build a new, this common European, and maybe understanding that you should appreciate your peer, you should trust on your teacher and so on. And I was experimenting with my students. And once I told them that, okay, you can date with your friends, but you should tell me the truth. If you want to skip from my class, it's okay. But I should be aware that you have your date with your friend and you should go and see him. Sometimes they manage to lie, to cheat me. They do not go to meet their friend. For example, they went for shopping.
Perhaps we can relate that a bit more closer to the institutional side of the story. And here, I think it's really interesting that there's this exchange of, but I don't know if somebody else would like to just share his or her own institutional experience in this regard.
Well, in my university, we have students involved in each of the committees, and we have these different committees: teaching and learning committee, quality review committee, research committee, and so on. And students are involved in all these committees, and we have separate student government with all these ministries, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Sport, and so on. So there's presidential campaigns also when they run and being elected for presidential elections. And they have a voice that is heard. And besides faculty, I see what Anita says. Yes, we have this practice in Kazakhstani universities in mainstream. My university is just a separate university. It's a unique, running under separate special law. It's quite different. But in all other Kazakhstani universities, actually teachers don't have these voices. And that's why what is being done in class is, so it's more formal procedures that are being observed, and that's the issue. And as for my university, we have faculty senate, which not a decision-making body, but it is a body that provides some recommendations to the decision-making bodies of the university. So the practice of shared governance is in place, and this makes us as faculty members feel as full members of the university. Our voices are heard, and even our dean, he can do nothing if the faculty says no, that it will follow what we say. In other Kazakhstani universities, the dean will say, and all the faculty have to follow. That's the issue, you know? So it is important to have, if we want to develop this culture, we need to not use this top-down approach when you come from above and say, it is, you have to do it.
You have to liberate people.
Yeah, they should be also bottom down, and they should understand what's the need in it. How can I contribute? How can I help? So if there is an awareness at the bottom level, why do we need to do this and this? And if there is a respect to the opinion to what they are doing, then we can develop this culture. Remember, she told 14 years they were developing, working on developing this culture. So it will not come all at once. So you have to steadily, permanently work on it, and you have to respect everybody.
So the word respect has been mentioned several times, I think. All right.
So in Uzbekistan universities, we have the specific departments, internal control, monitoring and internal quality control. But actually, they just department to report, to control, to elaborate some different types of reports to the administration to the ministry. But within the 10% Erasmus Plus project, there were a number of developments to promote the quality culture, to promote and work with the specific aspects for the academic leaderships, to enhance the students' role, to create the virtual quality structures. So to make the people work together. I mean, academics, administration, students, and it's again to repeat that it should be clearly stated in the strategic development of the university, and which help them to work continuously on the promoting. And I think that this international cooperation, the joint project with the European partners, with the regional partners, they contributed a lot to promotion of quality culture.
In what sense have they contributed? Because then you could benefit from an external work into their own practices.
Now I'm telling only about the internal quality
Yeah, that's
assurance
good.
aspect.
Yeah, that's good because we have in our universities international cooperation office, and we have QA offices at all universities, but also at faculties. And this collaboration is crucial between these two offices in the sense of quality assurance and internationalization of the universities. The other aspect is very important, which is not very important for building a culture, is the Finnish example, because this is the course for students for quality assurance. They have this course for the students biannually, and I think that universities should think about it and to maybe implement it somehow in their programs for the students, because the students are not much involved in the QA, but in other things also, not only in quality assurance. I think that this example is a very good example for others to be implemented in order to attract students at a biannual basis, because to have the students ready for bodies for quality assurance, qualities, etc. So I think this is one of the good practices, good recommendation for others to implement the universities.
So supporting and training, offering a training
Yes,
for students.
and also this collaboration of internal offices, QA, internationalization, maybe others who are involved in those issues.
All right. Thank you very much. I think we already goes through a lot of ideas actually that would come into would nicely come into lists. And I wonder if somebody else would like to also share some experience from her his university or at national level also. If you have if you can give us a little outlook of what to your mind happens at national level. You mentioned that in your university it's difficult because you're located in a very special region.
Yeah, because the
all of that will be accredited by Russian authorities and with local accreditation institutions, so it's made difficult. And let's say we are on the way of internationalization, and we already adopted this Bologna standard process in the university. Now we are working on, let's say, university, so mostly in consortium with Russian universities.
Yes.
So it's make more, let's say, Russian standards in education system in Transnistria area, I could say.
Yes.
But everything we are talking about is also very important, and we are trying to see as much good example to adopt it in Transnistria University. But let's say we are on the first steps probably because we still have this
Very top-down approach.
yeah. So it's less maybe initiatives from the bottom. Of course, it's more like I don't know, plans or
Yeah, it's plans,
instructions.
and then
Yes,
yes.
instructions from above, and
Yes.
it makes more complicated.
Right. But how do academic staff feel about that? Is there any willingness to build up something together?
No, it's not a bad situation in the university. It's classical university. It's 12,000 students. So in general, there are, let's say, there are many good exams. We also have institutions who are responsible for quality of education, responsible for students' involvement. But of course, it's very politicized question.
Yeah.
That's why I don't really want to
Yeah, that's
discuss
fine.
it, let's
Yeah,
say.
that's fine. All right.
But we are on the way, I would say, and we try to be more flexible, I would say, because now more relations with Moldavian universities. Now we signed agreement with Navarra, Spain University. We are on the way of Stockholm Business School of Economics. So there are some kind of already exchange of students. So we are speaking more and more about this internationalization, about international standards, etc. But we are doing again the first steps.
Yeah, but it's really important, I think. Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if there's another.
I just wanted to say that maybe QAA, quality assurance agencies in our country should have more promotional activities regarding quality assurance. And they are somehow closed, not much open except their websites and so on. I think that they should have more promotional activities with various stakeholders, even ministries, education, other ministries involved in the education. Also, not only Ministries of Education, then higher education institutions, student unions, etc., etc. So they should be more focused on this transparent aspect of the quality assurance and to be closer to the beneficiaries, let's say, and to give them the proper information regarding the development of quality assurance, because this is a process, and they should be more active in that sense.
It's interesting that you're mentioning the quality assurance agency. I was wondering, but then do you have a platform at national level or regional level, I mean whatever, for example, quality managers in universities to meet on specific issues of internal quality assurance? Because the agencies are dealing basically with external, well, evaluating. But is there an exchange of good practice or national practice conferences?
They are dealing also with internal issues regarding the standards and criteria for internal quality assurance. What should be,
Yeah, I understand that. What I mean is there an exchange between people within universities to exchange among them and see how they can learn from each other?
Between
Between quality assurance managers, between rectors.
this should be provided by the in that sense what you said, that
Mhm.
they have to
Mhm.
share
Mhm.
their experience.
So I understand it's not happening yet.
It's happening, but not.
Not really
Yeah,
in a
this-
structural way.
Yeah, oh, correct.
Yeah, okay. Mhm. That's a really good point.
Yes, we might need kind of like to make some short contributions to what just colleagues said about a good Finnish experience according courses for students. I think that it's also reasonable to have courses for teachers and include according on quality assurance and include in this course for teachers uh, how how teachers can involve students in quality assurance. I mean that if I'm also working for the university as a professor, and if just few students from 20,000 studying at the university involved in committees, it's not students' involvement in quality assurance. But every professor, personally, what I'm doing with students, they should be aware what is quality assurance and what is the university goal, and they can have an opportunity to participate. For example, I suggest them for my every course to fill in the CVU, to estimate, yeah, to assess me, to assess part of the course, part of the program, what they like, what they don't like, what methods they like, etc. They also are involved in assessment of each other activities in groups, and I take into account their assessment, yeah. Just I make an average. My voice is like their voice, yeah. So it's their responsibility, and when they are when they understand what is quality and what is their role in the quality, and they feel the responsibility, they also contribute, yeah. And I think when teachers aware about such an instrument, they can just use them, and they should, I think, maybe targeted from the university, from the faculties, etc., to use these instruments. That way we are building a culture, yeah. Students' voice is respected, it's taken into account, and all participate in the process.
Right, thank you.
I don't know about other countries, but do they have the continuous system of the retraining and upgrading skills of pedagogical, so academic and administrative staff of the universities? In our country, it's, according to the law, we should undertake the courses.
Continuous training for
Yes,
teachers.
yes. So professional development courses. So every 3 years, so it's compulsory for each student. And I think this is one of the good points to promote the quality and culture. And
So that there is something structured offered to professors for continuously improving themselves and also professionally, professional development. All right, thank you. Yeah, because I think we have plenty of good points already, right, for the conditions for building institutional quality culture capacity. Apparently, we have plenty of ideas about that. Just really appreciate it. So the next list we are going to we need to address is 5 concrete steps that here could take to support this in their own country as well. Most of you are here, so here in capital letters. So I guess it's also you also already have some ideas based on the exchanges we had in these 2 days about what you could take home to support your home country. So I'm just first opening the floor to ask you a few things, or just one thing you would like to pinpoint from those 2 days, and also related to quality culture that you could take back home and perhaps further develop with your colleagues at home.
normally, so we don't have here is the experts, but normally after each seminar, the mayor will submit the report
You submit
to the ministry, which actually is a consolidated report of 2 or 3 experts who participated in the meeting. But it's not just the report. The main part is the specific recommendations. Recommendations to be undertaken, to be considered, to be discussed at the ministry level. And of course, the first discussion should take place within the team. So the people who benefited of this training should share their experience, their recommendation, conclusions, materials received within the team. And then the team will decide national level
All
and,
right.
and in considering the specific situation in the country.
All right. So,
We are also preparing report recommendations and sending to all stakeholders, not only to the ministry, but all universities, all institutions, or agencies, etc.
But we make it
But
available on the website.
what is applicable to our country? Recommendations from the seminar, from the conference.
yeah. So I understand you cannot, I mean, I'm not asking you here to basically tell us what recommendations you would put as a collective effort. In your report, that really belongs to you. We here are just discussing, I mean, we're just talking basically. If it depends only on you, what is the first thing you would say that could be recommended in terms of building institutional quality culture capacity in your country?
For us, for Uzbekistan, it would be the most important to enhance the students' role.
Enhance the
The
students'
students' involvement. The
students'
role
involvement.
Yeah.
Okay.
in promoting
This
quality.
is for every country.
Huh?
This is for every country.
No, but for us it's specific because it's still we're missing the students' contribution to the quality culture.
I would like to say that I really liked what Kate, right?
Yeah.
What Kate said about teachers and we here as representative here to be the ambassadors and to basically preach this quality culture either in a official formal meeting and seminars or over coffee with other colleagues. So I guess this might be our biggest reach to keep talking about quality culture.
So your line would be keep talking about quality culture.
Eventually, we'll turn into something.
All right. Okay. Then maybe somebody else would like to add something to contribute from his or her point of view.
I think there is another recommendation, but it's not the here's but the now recommendation. I have a number of projects implemented in the area of quality control, quality assurance, quality culture. A number. I think but it would be nice for us and for the ministry to analyze each project,
To assess
to assess,
what's being
to
done.
have some not evaluation report, but maybe some
To assess
yeah.
what's already been done and what's the situation.
and what is the next steps. So
What are the
to
next
build on the
steps?
previous results and because we still keeping this quality assurance, quality culture as a national and the regional priority for all Erasmus Plus projects. So the people shouldn't start from zero. They should be aware of what has been already done, how to promote, what should be the next step, and which will definitely be supported by the national authorities. So in our case, it's very important to have yes and support from the ministry level.
Support from the ministry.
Yes, it makes visible the
Okay. Well, that's this idea of sort of assessing what's already existed to see how you can build up on things or not, or to have a better idea of what's been already explored and in which ways. So thank you.
Kind of SWOT analysis.
Yes, about the situation. All right. Yes.
I just want to come back to the presentation made by our colleague from Eastern University of England, Finland, Sirpa. I like when she spoke about the persistent work of the university, which was targeted towards the improvement of the skills of the staff, the students. So all the bodies of the university were involved in this process, and this is a matter of good management, which is also part and parcel of quality culture. This management issue is very important. And the second one, which I just heard from our discussions, is that quality culture is not only delivered within one university and prescribed in the strategic program of one particular university and then one particular national agency for quality assurance. It is a joint effort
collaborating with this aspect of contributing to each other's work. All right, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's maybe one short contribution. I think I'm thinking now that maybe it's reasonable for me as working for NEO is to suggest our here team to work in two directions, to use both of two approaches. One approach is from top to bottom. It means recommendations for stakeholders, etc., about strategy, how to develop, etc., etc. And the other approach, they should both be implemented from bottom to top. It's just practical examples, articles. For example, for our site, for our bulletin, when we spread during the information, the concrete example. For example, in a certain university, there is no strategy, there is no a good situation with QA, etc. But every person could do in the frame of what is he doing, professor, teacher, etc. It's a concrete example how to use quality assurance in what you are doing.
That's a good point, and it also takes us to another point that was also in Seba's presentation about the support and the role of the management, of the central management, the governance at university level, and what his or her contribution or their contribution should be in disseminating, supporting yet being a bit distant, so not to get too much involved in this top-bottom approach, etc. Yeah. All right.
Just a brief comment.
Yes.
So everything should be done in terms of this improvement of the quality of culture to match these two basic requirements of ESG 2015, sustainability and enhancement. So we should do everything in order to provide this sustainability. Things shouldn't be casual, occasional, so they should be lifelong in order to boost the quality. This is also a part of the culture. Not to do things for one-time reason. For example, to pass this process of accreditation and that's all. No,
project.
it should be a culture.
It should be a continued effort towards continued improvement. Yeah. Yeah, and that very much also relates to, I think I was addressing that point yesterday in my presentation, that many countries are switching also towards approaches for enhancement because, yes, accreditation already took place, we already checked that everybody is in conformity, what next? Are we doing the same every 5 years, every 10 years? And then, so universities are full of very smart people.
Sleep well until
you do know how to play the game, right? So what can be done then to further enhance quality and take things further? All right. I believe there is another contribution, perhaps from
Have we already had 5 steps? Have we already had 5 steps?
Yes, woohoo!
Yeah.
Do you want me to walk you through it?
Yeah, perhaps we can just tour a little bit all the ideas that we always did. Yeah, we were quite a few, so very much.
Let me just sum it up. So the first question was, what is quality culture to you? We have started with a very broad definition of a supportive environment and a joint venture of everybody involved. We also agreed that there should be a clear understanding of the goals and all the conditions that need to be met for the quality to be achieved. And this transparency and openness has been underlined several times. Finally, quality culture is defined as a set of shared values, of communal understanding, and of course, most important part, it's a continued effort towards a certain goal. Question number 2 was how to achieve it. Again, going back to transparency and openness, one of the prerequisites for achieving quality culture is access to information for everybody. Then we come to this idea of self-management that Luzine, right? Am I pronouncing it right? Luzine suggested that everybody in this institutional hierarchy should be able to self-manage and self-regulate in order for the things to work out. So that means not just the management, but the teaching staff, the students, and the administrative staff. Once we have everybody self-managing themselves, we can have the synergy of all these elements working again towards the quality. Next we have, yes, another great suggestion was the involvement of students. So involving them in the processes and the executive bodies. So having this as you said, oh sorry, no, you said, sorry, shared governance between all the stakeholders. And so this is one way of involving them, and the other way of involving them was to train them and teach them, like we had in the Finnish example. Next step or next way of how to achieve this is this more formalized approach by having all the different offices that work on quality, whether it's a internationalization office or internal cooperation office or quality assurance agency to work closely together, of course with the educational institutions themselves. I don't know, let me see if I got this correct. I think we agreed that the top-down approach here can be counterproductive in achieving quality culture. Did I understand that correctly? Yeah? Yeah. So we do need support of the management in terms that they need to have to come up with a strategy and planning, but it's to the grassroots, the students, the teachers, who actually are going to build the culture. Okay. Did I get it correct? Sorry. And going back to the institutions, what Zlatan proposed that the quality assurance agencies take on a larger role in promotion and raising awareness of the quality cultures, and that there also should be formal or informal platform for discussion and sharing of best practices between the institution, the educational institutions themselves. Finally, the third question was what we as representatives of HERE and NEO can do. The first was like a formalized approach through reports and recommendations to all the stakeholders involved. The second idea was the assessment of the assessment of the implementation of all the projects dealing with quality assurance or quality culture and drawing up a plan of how to proceed. There was also mentioned SWOT analysis. And as Kate there said, that we should approach this from both sides, so have recommendations to the management and the executive bodies, but also share best practices and case studies for the grassroots, that is the teachers, to get them familiarized as much as possible with what's out there.
Yeah, and I think the last point on sustainability can also be related to the point of assessment of past projects, etc., to see what are the elements of that sustainability that already exist, basically, and can be further encouraged. All right. So I didn't count on my fingers, but I think we already have a pretty good spread of set of items and recommendations.
We actually have 3 lists.
Yeah, so we have 3 lists with people talk. And so to you, I don't know if anybody would like to add something, or just further reflect on one of those lines we just mentioned.
It's okay.
I don't know, in other countries, for us it's important that this professional development, continuous professional development and certificates, Yeah,
mentioned.
should be promoted within this professional development, which are, I don't know, in other countries.
So there should be a proper support basically for professional development
And specifically addressed during the professional development and quality culture.
that it should be included as part of the. All right.
At least representing the best practices.
There should be a sensibilization towards the concept of quality culture. All right, so thank you very much. I think we are quite aligned actually with the time. So if you have nothing else to add, I would propose that you should we have a coffee break? No.
No, we have.
Okay, I would propose to have a break then. Thanks for contribution.
There's a coffee machine in the hall, yeah, you probably have seen it, so you can make a coffee break.
Yeah, we can use it. Can we use it?
I think so. Yes, I have used it. No, it's everyone, it's just like the one that has coffee, it's not a, what do you call it, dispenser machine. No, it's it is the city of coffee after all, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, I really enjoyed this.
Anything else? Me too. You did a good job.
Anita has very good summarizing skills.
Yes, thank you very much.
And moderators.
Without pleasure. And we had a light show as well. We had a light show with the speeches.
Yeah, exactly. We had indications.
Yeah. Your time is up.
Where are you traveling back to? Brussels, yeah. I have to make a stop over. But this time I'm going to Brussels. It is 1975 for the control and all that because I'm already
Yeah.
so I need to hurry and